Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I have a book review for you today. I just finished reading book 3 of the Wheel of Time, The Dragon Reborn. I go into these blind. I try not to learn anything else about what's coming up in the series just because I know it's such a long series. I need that sort of element of surprise because it is a trek. And I will say I was so surprised with how much I enjoyed this book, and probably not for the reasons that maybe some people may have. Robert Jordan continues the trek of those serving the light, fighting against those of the darkness, those against the Dark One. And it does continue on the storyline of all of our characters. We actually add a few more characters as the story begins to grow. But what I really appreciated about book 3, it sounds weird, I appreciated that Rand took a back seat in the story. Frankly, he's in the beginning, and then we don't get back to him really until the very end. He's on his own journey. He is trying to follow what he feels to be right. He feels his next calling is. And I just appreciated that the other characters who in the first 2 books were important, but they always were going to take a back seat to Rand. I just really appreciated that they got to shine. They got their own spotlight. And I felt like their characters really developed through the story. The character groups that are in this book, kind of like the Lord of the Rings, once the Fellowship splinters, you have different groups. There are 4 groups in this story that the original party splinters into. Group 1 is going to be Moiraine, Lan, Perrin, Loyal, and then a new character, Zareen, the Falcon. And they are trying to follow Rand, who has left unexpectedly and silently to do what he thinks is right. He doesn't want anyone else, though he has been proclaimed as the dragon. And people are flocking to him, fighting for him. Moiraine has kept him from getting into any battles against Dark Friends. And he's really frustrated. So he actually leaves under the cover of darkness and is going to do what he thinks is going to be the final step, the final battle. He's trying to find Baalzamon and attack him and fight him individually. Our group 1, Moiraine, Lan, Perrin, Loyal, and Zareen are trying to follow him, track him, and get there before maybe even he dies. Group 2 is the girls. It's Nynaeve, Egwene, Elayne, the daughter heir of the Cayman seat. And their storyline is they are given a task. You'll remember in book 2 there are Black Ajah who have infiltrated Tar Valon, the White Tower, and the Amyrlin seat has deputized, has authorized these 3, Nynaeve, Egwene, and Elayne. They've been elevated in this story to the position of the accepted. So they're no longer novices as far as Aes Sedai ranking. They've been elevated to the accepted. They're not full Aes Sedai yet. But what the Amyrlin seat does is she deputizes them and is using them as what she calls like hounds or dogs on the hunt. They are supposed to track down these Black Ajah and report back to the Amyrlin seat. They find what the Ajah are trying to do, the Black Ajah are trying to do throughout the story as it develops. And seeing those 3 work together, you have a lot of personalities. You've got Egwene, who is so headstrong, very genuine. You have Elayne, who is the daughter heir. She is going to be the queen one day. And she brings with it an element of professionalism, of skill when it comes to talking and dealing and manipulating situations. And then you have Nynaeve, who is the most powerful, certainly, but herself still isn't excited that she is an Aes Sedai. She still resents this entire situation, and she views herself as the mother of these two. She's 7 years older than Egwene, and Elayne is around the same age as Egwene. And so there's this like power struggle, not that ever truly threatens to tear them apart, but they have to work together. They have to be thrown into the deep end of the pool. And I really enjoyed whenever the chapters for this group would come around. I really got excited because there are elements of mystery, of investigation, of sneaking that the other groups don't have as much emphasis on. Group 3 is probably what I thought the strongest element of the book was, which is Mat, Thom Merril, and a new group of Aiel warriors. They're from the land of Aiel. These are fierce warriors who I imagine ninjas. That's kind of what I was imagining. Fierce warriors that cover their faces. They're extremely gifted. They can fight with anything that you put in their hands, or if they have no weapon, they can fight with their hands very well. Mat, Thom, and these Aiel warriors get connected throughout the story because the Aiel warriors are familiar with Egwene, Nynaeve, and Elayne, and Thom and Mat are trying to find Nynaeve, Egwene, and Elayne when they get themselves into some problems. Mat's character, and this is where I want to spend a little bit of time on, Mat's character makes the most progress, I think, in this book out of all the other characters. And for the first two, Mat wasn't annoying to me. He's the one that's always getting into trouble. He's the one that's always pushing the envelope in really dumb ways. Like when they are originally in Camelin and the White Cloaks are there, Mat needlessly gets up on a roof and like throws water and waste and shoves rocks down onto them and like really causes the whole group to have to flee for their lives. So like Mat would do stuff like that. Mat in this book, you learn, okay, he is growing, he is maturing, and actually some of the choices he makes actually are sacrificial. He puts on this air of I'm independent, I don't care about people, very roguish, but then when push comes to shove, Thom Merril is actually the one who kind of observes. We sort of see through his eyes, and we kind of appreciate that Mat is maturing. Mat does have a good heart, because it'll be things like they'll go into a town and it'll be poverty-stricken. Mat has gambled money and he has gotten a lot of wealth. There's some elements of Mat that are developing within himself that he doesn't fully understand, but he'll sneakily just give out money just to try to help people. And Thom will call him on it a couple of times. He'll say like, I thought you said that we need to not care about other people and keep our heads down and only look out for ourselves. And Mat will be like, be quiet, Thom. So Mat really develops. And my favorite scene, the girls, right, group 2, they get captured at one point. I won't tell you those details. And sure enough, Mat very much risks his life to come in and save them. And their interaction, I was laughing out loud when I was reading this chapter, because Mat is like pretty proud of himself. Like, I have conquered my demons. I am serving others. I am putting myself out there for the betterment of the cause. And the girls, I mean, they tear into him for risking his life, for being so foolish that he would try to break them out of where they're being held. And like, you can just feel for Mat. He's standing there like, how am I the bad guy in this situation? It was so funny. And I thought Robert Jordan did such a good job of communicating on the page, not just what was thinking, but what was being said, the bickering, the actual reactions. That's group 3, Thom, Mat, and the Aiel warriors. And then group 4 is Rand. Rand is on his own in this story. He knows about the furtherance of the dragon prophecy, and there is a sword that he believes he is supposed to find and use to slay the Dark One. So this magical sword is what he is pursuing this entire story. And what is incredible is how Robert Jordan brings all 4 of those groups back together at the end of the story. So don't think that they're splintered and you're never going to see your favorite characters interact anymore. No, no, no. He will wind them back together. And I thought how he did that was really, really well done. Each group got enough page time to really develop their storylines. Rand took a back seat, which gave a bit of relief from the like grand epicness of the story. We could really focus in on, not that it's small, but the like smaller stakes of the different groups' missions. Perrin also gets some development. This element of him becoming a wolf, it's not been extremely explained, completely explained. Moraine finally is brought into the know. He actually talks to Moraine about it, which made me feel good, because anytime he talks to Moraine about things, you feel like, all right, at least somebody knows who knows something. So she's helping him through what he feels he should and shouldn't do, fears that he has. His dynamic with the Falcon, with the Zareen, this has been a prophecy that Min, you'll know Min, she can look at people and see prophecies. She can see their futures in part of pictures that glow above their heads. She doesn't really understand all of the images that she sees, but with Perrin, she lets him know that she sees a falcon, and he doesn't know what that means. He meets this girl Zareen, and she goes by another name, which translates to the Falcon. And so Perrin is very afraid, because he doesn't want to know anything about his future. He's already freaked out that he has yellow eyes and he talks to wolves, which inherently respect. But their developing relationship, Zareen and Perrin, I thought was a really cool element, because Perrin has just kind of been the third gruff character that's just along for the ride. Matt has been along for the ride, but in a different way, with his sickness with this like dagger. And so group 4 ran by himself, still doing his thing, but not in the main spotlight of the story. I gave this book 4 out of 5, because really I thought it was really, really well done. And to see how Robert Jordan continued the story, to see how there was resolution at the end, Rand potentially thinks actually things may be coming to a close, only to find he did not even fully understand what is happening. He doesn't even fully grasp the actual largeness of the stakes that Moraine understands. Really, really good. Even Moraine gets a bit of development. She has been reading and studying, and she actually is engaging in some previously forbidden Aes Sedai magic. So don't think that she's just this like character that swoops in and saves the day. No, no, there's some real risk with her and some foes that she has to face this story. Robert Jordan's book 3 of the Wheel of Time, The Dragon Reborn. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, I'm excited for book 4. Again, I don't know anything about these books when I go into them. I just know the characters that we've met, and we'll see how the story progresses. Have you read book 3? What'd you think about it? Where does it rank as far as the other books in the series? Is this a series that starts strong? I know that there's that sort of middle doldrums area. I'll be curious to see when I get there how I feel about it. Again, I started really wanting to read these because I read a lot of Brandon Sanderson, and knowing that the Wheel of Time existed, again, not knowing anything about it, I knew that that Brandon Sanderson gets involved at the end. And so that initially was like, okay, I need to probably pick that up because I'm excited to see how he handles it. But we got to appreciate Robert Jordan's writing, and I really am. It's really good, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. This book was entertaining at points, funny at points, emotional at points, and ultimately, I really think this was an important story, which is all that you can ask for in a long series. So thanks so much for watching, reading along. I hope you are enjoying whatever you're reading. If you're interested, you can like and subscribe to the channel. We'll keep reading The Wheel of Time. We'll keep reading other adventures, and we'll talk about them here. So take care. We'll get back together in the next video.